Eagles fans, what's good? What's good? This is your guy, Tone DeShields II from Chalk Over Sports Philly. And as you can already see, I'm joined by my guy, my brother in arms, Philly Foothills from the Nest out west. My man, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good, Tone. Yes, it's early out here on the West Coast. It's 7:30 in the morning, but I'm always up early on game days. It's hard for it's an exciting time for us right now. It was hard for me to sleep solidly last night, but I'm ready to go. Definitely fired up, and we're looking for 3 wins in a row this week for the first time in quite a while. Quite a while, my guy.
Yeah, that's the key thing, right? It's like, what can we really expect from this team at this point? We kind of have, our destiny is kind of in our own hands, right? Now, sure, we need a couple things to go our way, but for the most part, we can pretty much write our own ticket if we went out, and you can pretty much live with the results after that. But this season has been a roller coaster ride. This has been one of the more entertaining Eagle seasons that I've had the pleasure of experiencing. Definitely the best Eagle season that I've ever covered. But like you said, man, there's so many things have to go in our favor, man. We talked about this off air, and things aren't solidified yet, but we have a lot to build off of. But you know, before we get too deep into the nitty gritty, you guys, welcome to the Giants versus Eagles pregame show. It's week 12, and we are so grateful for you guys being here, man. The love is always felt. You already know how we get down. Make sure you guys smash that like button. When I say smash, I mean pound it to the ground. Hit that like button. Make sure you share the content. Make sure you comment and subscribe to our channels as well. The links are available down below in the description if you want to support not only myself, but the Nest Out West with Philly Foothills. So all the links are available down below if you want to support me and my brother in arms. Philly Foothills, uh, I guess let's just hop right into it, man. So let's get into this injury report because so far for us, Jordan Howard is the only one that's going to be out, and then Tay Gowan, the cornerback, I think he was questionable with a neck injury, and then for the Giants, Sterling Shepard is going to be out. Uh, I think they're going to be without Logan Ryan. There's a chance they're going to be without Kadarius Toney.
Right.
So I think Saquon Barkley is questionable.
Kyle Rudolph is
Um,
also doubtful for the
so
Giants. So yeah, they're
yep,
missing some weapons, definitely.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yep, Kyle Rudolph, you're right, and yeah, I think they're missing another tight end as well. But the
They
bottom
are.
line is
Yes.
they have more injuries than us.
Right.
So um, I'm I'm going to miss Jordan Howard. I think this team is going to miss Jordan Howard, but the good thing is we still have the Giant Killer. So
Very true.
things could be a lot worse, man.
Yeah, and I think we might get a Giant Killer Jr. this week. I really do because uh I'm not gonna give too much away as far as my you know some of our stuff that we're gonna do later on, but I'm just gonna say this. I think Gainwell might have a pretty big game this week.
Mm.
We're gonna mix him
What,
in.
what makes you say that? I'm curious because he has
Uh,
been pretty quiet. He's been pretty quiet these past handful of weeks.
right, and he actually has been inactive. I think as since Sanders coming back, so which was last week. But I just think that the Giants are going to be focused a lot on Scott and Sanders, and I think Gainwell could maybe slip through the cracks. And he's been good, like in the red zone and stuff like that. So points are where it really matters. If he can catch a maybe a little crosser or something like that, or out of the backfield, then or they could even line him up at receiver too. So yeah, I think I just have a feeling that Kenny's going to be our giant killer junior.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Kenny Gainwell, like I said, he has been pretty quiet, but Kenny Gainwell does find ways to be productive, especially earlier on in the season.
Right.
Nick Sirianni found creative ways to use him in the passing game and in the running game, things of that nature. But this team, not just Kenny Gainwell, but this entire team, they have a golden opportunity. They have a legit shot to actually make a playoff run. And
Absolutely.
who would have thought there was a point in the season where we were 2-5. 2-5. And with a record like that, no one's looking for you. No one's checking for you. No one expects you to do anything. and
Right.
people thought this coaching staff was dead in the water. People thought this roster was dead in the water. People
Quarterback.
thought the quarterback, the entire roster, the entire organization was under fire, from the city, from the fans, and rightfully so. There were moments where we really questioned the aptitude of this coaching staff. We questioned whether or not were they even capable of
Right.
running this team or even calling plays.
Yeah. Well, and not only, I mean, and to narrow it, Miles Sanders has a golden opportunity. He really does. He's got a golden opportunity to step up, beat a division opponent while Jordan Howard is out. Because he is not going to play, and that was one of the things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way from last week. I thought I wouldn't have Jordan Howard in up 20. I think we were up 27-7 at that point. I don't know. I mean, hindsight's always 20/20, but I just at certain points in games, you got to start putting in some of your reserve guys. But I mean, I get it. If football's football, injuries happen. But yeah, we absolutely do have a golden opportunity. We really do. We have taken leaps and bounds. We've taken big steps forward this year. We've found our identity. We're definitely a run first team. That's one of the things that makes me nervous about this week, though. With Jordan Howard being out, I just hope that Miles and Boston and hopefully Kenny too can hold the fort down while Jordan's out, because Jordan has really been our workhorse. I mean, he's been absolutely tearing it up for the most part, and very, very impressed for what I've seen from Jordan Howard.
Yeah, big time. Jordan Howard, like you said, he's been the workhorse. He's been getting those crucial yardage. He's been getting the crucial yardage for us. And not to discount Miles Sanders, because when he came back, he gave us over 90. He gave us over 90 yards on about, I think, 14 to 15 touches. I think Miles Sanders was averaging about 5 yards a carry against the New Orleans Saints last week, and he didn't score a touchdown, but he gave us over 90 yards. He had that fumble. He technically fumbled twice, in my opinion, but only one of them counted because the second one they gave him forward progress. So this is going to be a big game for for the running backs. Miles Sanders has to come through. He has to show that he can carry this workload. Boston Scott hasn't fumbled the ball at all. He's doing a great job. Jordan Howard hasn't fumbled the ball at all. Kenny Gainwell only fumbled the ball once early on in the season. So it's like Miles Sanders.
The Giants are going to be, the linebackers and the DBs and stuff like that. They're going to be coming for that ball when Sanders has it. They're going to be coming to punch it out. They're going to be coming to rip it out. They watched the film from last week. They've seen it. So, and I'm sure their coaches have been reiterating that to attack that football. We're going to gang tackle, but we're also going to attack that football especially when Miles Sanders has the ball this week, because he's going to be our RB1 this week, and hopefully he can respond. He's definitely got to hold on to that pill. He can't be spilling it. That was something that, I mean, we basically gifted the Saints 7 points last week, giving it to them inside our 10-yard line. I mean, that's just
inexcusable.
Yeah, you can't
give him life. There was a chance that we could have went into halftime with a shutout. You know what I mean? But Miles Sanders fumbled and almost fumbled twice, in the same part of the field at that. So,
right.
So to me, that's beyond just rust. That's a mental thing, and I felt it, and I really feel that first fumble was living in his mind rent free, and that's how he fumbled the second time. But luckily, the officials called forward progress, and he really got away with one. In my humble opinion. But like you said, they are going to be paying attention to Miles Sanders. Like you said, like you don't think like they're watching that footage. They know for a fact. Miles Sanders is a little loose with the ball. So it's going to be important for Miles Sanders to carry that ball high and tight, and also just whenever he gets in traffic, you have to wrap it up. You have to protect it like it's like it's your child. You know what I mean? And last time I checked, you don't give your child to strangers. So it's going to be really important for Miles Sanders to really come in and make a statement today and show that he can be the RB1, not just for now, and but for the future. Because believe it or not, he's playing for a contract also, and Howie Roseman is giving out. He's been giving out a lot of money lately, and you want to be on the right side of that. Miles Sanders has a lot to prove still to me. He has to find a way to stay healthy. And also, Michi, the GOAT Michi brought up a very good point. On key situations, Miles cannot run out of bounds. He's done. He did it again last week against the Saints. It was I think it was on one of his last big runs. He somehow, some way he ran out of bounds. And my thing is, bro, just slide. You don't even need to take the hit. Once you get the first down and you get close to that sideline, just slide. You don't lose anything. There's nothing more to gain at that point. Just slide, keep the
Stay in
clock
bounds.
running.
Yep.
And he's had too many times where he's had boneheaded plays like that.
Yeah, he did. He did that. I remember there was a couple times where he did that back-to-back plays. I think it was against Carolina at the very end of the game. Almost cost us that game. So yeah, he's got to be smarter in certain situations. And you definitely have to be aware of that stuff. When you're a veteran player like he is now, there's no excuses. There really isn't. And people can say, "Oh, well, what about the coaching?" I don't. That's not, to me. That's really not a coach. That's something that a player can keep track of. That's something that a player can easily monitor as they're. They see the time on the clock. They know what the score is on the scoreboard. They have to be self-accountable to a certain extent, and that's definitely something that falls on the player's shoulders, in my opinion. And Miles has to be better in that category. I agree, definitely. What's going on, Ryan Rowe?
Yeah, Ryan the guy. But yeah, absolutely, man. But like we mentioned, they have a golden opportunity, and not just by their own efforts, but by the Dallas Cowboys' lack of effort. The Dallas Cowboys fell to 7-4, losing to the Las Vegas Raiders, and that has opened up a can of worms for them. They are looking very suspect. They're looking as if they're not the team to beat anymore. And Dak Prescott is looking like he's still a product of his weapons rather than he making his weapons the product. CeeDee Lamb wasn't playing, Amari Cooper wasn't playing, but it just seemed as though he couldn't really get it done when it mattered most. Now, granted, he did force overtime, but their problem is they can't stop the run and they can't run the ball, and that's actually the Eagles' strength right now. The Eagles struggled with stopping the run earlier on, but they tightened up at this point in the season, and we're running the ball, almost better than every team in the NFL besides the Cleveland Browns. But they got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. That's all they do is run the ball. But there's a chance.
Indy's running at a pretty good clip with Jonathan Taylor and company too.
Exactly, man. Good point. But the Dallas Cowboys, they fell.
Oh yeah.
Dallas Cowboys. So yeah. What are your thoughts on that? Like, what are your thoughts on the whole Dallas Cowboys situation and how things could potentially play out? Because their schedule, whether they want to admit it or not, their schedule was not necessarily the easiest. I think they had next week they have the Saints at home. Well, they're not home, but they go on the road and they play the Saints.
Right.
And that Saints team is going to get healthy at the right time. So, what are your thoughts on that? Because again, the schedule doesn't get easier; it actually gets a little tougher, believe it or not, because they have the Saints. Then they got the Washington football team on the road, then the Giants on the road. That's a 3-game road trip. And then they come home to Washington, then they play the Cardinals at home, and then they go on the road and play us. Those final 2 games for them are going to be tough, and those next 3 games for them are going to be tough. What are your thoughts on their situation right now?
For me as an Eagles fan, I love it because they tend to kind of crumble this time of the year and down the stretch, and I think they're already showing it. And on top of that, they're talking about resting Zeke to get his knee right. I don't know if you heard that, but they're talking about resting Zeke. I don't know for a week or however long, but they're talking about resting Zeke. And if they do that, I'm already seeing that Dak is missing throws that he should be making. I mean, there was a one that he could have easily made. I think it was to CeeDee Lamb. Maybe it wasn't CeeDee Lamb. Maybe it was.
I know what you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking about. It was in overtime.
The rollout to the right. Yeah, could have easily. That's a throw that Dak could. A healthy Dak makes that throw. 10 times out of 10, more than likely. With that guy was wide open, and he's on the move. But there's a lot of quarterbacks that should make that throw and can make that throw, and he usually can. But there's obviously something. Dak's not. I don't think Dak's fully healthy. Agreed. So, yeah, they definitely have some issues. And like you said, their schedule is what it is. It's I think they have a couple of do they have a couple of Washington games on there? So they probably will win one or two, probably both of those if they play their best ball. But I don't know. Dallas is just right now they're very very inconsistent, and they're
Mhm.
injury play. They're very injury plagued. They're missing, they're missing their not only on the offensive side of the ball, but they're I think if not just this past game, but the game before, they were missing their top two pass rushers as well.
Exactly.
So,
Now,
well,
Demarcus Lawrence, I think he is coming back soon.
yeah,
But he's going, there will be some rust there. But you're right, man. Like they don't look consistent in any capacity. Their defense doesn't look good unless they're forcing turnovers. Um, right now, right now they've right now they're allowing teams to average over 120 yards on the ground. Teams are averaging almost 5 yards a carry on those guys. Uh, well, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Teams are averaging 4 yards a carry on them, and they're allowing teams to rush for over 100 yards on them daily or weekly rather. They're struggling to stop the run, and it's only getting worse for them. And not only that, they're struggling to run the ball. Believe it or not, Zeke looks like he's out of gas. Tony Pollard, he has been the spark. And you can make an argument that if Tony Pollard doesn't return that kickoff 100 yards, then they don't. They're out of that game completely. You know what I'm saying? So the Cowboys have a lot of soul searching to do. The Cowboys have a lot of things to work on. They are looking very shaky, and the Philadelphia Eagles are smelling blood in the water. That's my biggest thing. I believe the Philadelphia Eagles smell blood in the water, and it's going to be so important for those guys to come in and really stick their claim. Because look, we're only about a game and a half. If we win today, we're a game and a half away from being number one in the NFC East. I'll be honest with you. I think the Cowboys are going to lose two of those games on the road. I just don't think they have it right now. I really think there's something missing. There's something going on within our organization. I don't know if it's Mike McCarthy being Mike McCarthy, because Mike McCarthy is a very inconsistent head coach in and of itself, and I feel like he's been carried by his talent this year. I don't think, and he's also been carried by Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator. But Kellen Moore actually starting to look a little shaky as well, because his play calling, his sequencing, it seems like he's not really running the ball. I'm not really understanding what's going on.
well, not only that, but it seemed like they got conservative towards the end of that game. It seemed like they were trying not to lose as opposed to playing to win. And
Right.
I don't know if that's necessarily Kellen Moore or if that's McCarthy telling Moore to kind of what to do as the head coach. But yeah, they definitely could have been more aggressive down the stretch, and they weren't, and it paid them. It paid a price. It bit them in the ass, and
Exactly.
they're definitely catchable now. With our schedule, with the way that with the knock on wood that we continue to be healthy as an organization, as as we continue down this long season, because this is we have an extra game. It's 18 weeks now as opposed to 17, so we stay healthy down the stretch. I like our chances of the possibilities of catching them. I really do.
Yeah, for sure. And just a reminder, you guys, we are live on two channels. We are live on not only Chalk It Up Sports Philly, but we are live on my brother's Philly Foothills, the Nest Out West, his YouTube channel as well. The links are available down below in the description if you want to support myself along with the Nest Out West. We are live on two separate channels, so make sure you guys hit that like button respectively on both channels, man. We would
Really
definitely
appreciate it.
appreciate that.
Yes.
The love is always felt, you guys. But yeah, man, this division is this division is tight actually, because the Eagles are 5-6, Washington's 4-6, and Washington looks like they're playing pretty competitive as well. The Giants are the only team that really looks like they're a dumpster fire. But we can't sleep on the Giants at all. They find ways to make it more competitive. And it begs the question about everything, that can Jalen Hurts lead this Eagles team to a playoff push, all things considered? Can he run the table on the division? Can he take care of business against the New York Jets? You know what I mean? This is the home stretch, and I believe Jalen Hurts can actually do it. I have no doubt in his mentality, what he brings to the table, just from an emotional perspective, from a mental perspective, just the way he carries himself throughout the game. I was watching his press conference yesterday, and there's something about that man's demeanor that makes me believe anything is possible. What do you think?
Absolutely. I think he's grown a lot already as a quarterback this year. You've seen it since from what he first came in as a quarterback last year. He's taking care of the football at a tremendous rate. He's not throwing interceptions that often. He's not fumbling the ball. And they finally figured out, they finally listened to us Eagles content creators who probably should be in football because I think we know sometimes more than the people that are, supposed to be professional coaches and things like that. Because I don't know about you. I think you were too. I was saying we want to win football games this year. We're going to be run first. We're going to be run first. Take that pressure off of Jalen. We have the running backs to do it, and unfortunately, to begin the season, they didn't do so. I think a lot of that was pressure from the front office and Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman wanting us to be a pass heavy team, but the season's kind of been playing itself out. I'm a true believer of now we've found our identity. It's obviously run first and feed off of that from there because Jalen does very well when he has a good running game going. And I mean, that's true for a lot of quarterbacks, but especially Jalen because not only when we have a good running game going, not only do they have to account for the running backs, but they got to account for him too because he's been very electric when he needs to. When he needs to use his feet, a lot like he's kind of reminding me of Russell Wilson in that he's trying to stay in the pocket a little bit more. He's looking down the field. He's going through his progressions. He's seeing the field better. And when he needs to, not when he has to, when he needs to, he takes off and uses his legs and gets that first down. So Jalen's been playing very, very smart football. And I was having my questions at the beginning of the season, but that was because of the offense that we were running. It made Jalen, it kind of hung him out to dry. It made him look like a very incapable quarterback, but you put him in the right system, you call the right plays, and you put the right guys around him. They're going to start doing some good things. I think the one thing I want to see going forward, Tone down the stretch, we got to start getting the ball to more receivers than just Devontae Smith. Quez Watkins I think he was shut out last week. JJ Arcega-Whiteside even had a catch last week, which was crazy. At the end of the game, he had a first down. But we got to get Quez more involved. Rieger, I don't know. We got to find ways to try to get him some positive confidence going because I think that's what a lot of it's holding him back is just when he gets down, it's really hard for him to get back going. But if we could find a way to maybe get him like on a jet sweep or something like that, maybe get him some positive, get him a nice run or just something positive for Rieger. I don't know what it can be, but he's definitely been kind of frustrating for me, but we got to start spreading the ball more around on offense.
Absolutely. I agree with you 150%. It's funny. I literally had that topic lined up and the plays, first of all, like you said, the play calling has improved. The play call sequencing has improved as well. So I like what Nick Sirianni has been doing. He's been playing. He's been calling the game as such. Whereas though, I'm going to get the ball to my most talented guys. I'm going to get the ball to my guys that can do the most with the ball, and I respect that. I respect that wholeheartedly. Now, you've shown the league that okay, Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert are the guys on this team. Dallas Goedert, and Devontae Smith lead this team in targets. Devontae Smith leads the team in targets by an astronomical amount. I believe Devontae Smith has over 70 targets, and then Dallas Goedert only has between 40 and 50 targets, about 45 targets. So right. that disparity is insane. So the league knows Devontae Smith is our guy. But like you said, it's so important. It's so important for Nick Sirianni to find a way to get guys like Quez Watkins involved. It's important for him to find a way to get a guy like Jalen Reagor involved. And one of our loyal subscribers, the GOAT Michi, he brought up a great point yesterday. He said we can put Reagor as a Debo in a Debo Samuel type of role. Very and good. I agree with that 100%. I agree with that because when you think about Jalen Reagor's skill set, for some reason he's struggling with route discipline. He's struggling with that. He does very well now. I also was watching Gate City's breakdown of Jalen Reagor. his situation right now as well. And he did a very good job at that. Shout out to Gate City Sports. Make sure you guys go like, comment, and subscribe to his content as well. One of the best dissecting the game. But he was pretty much saying that Jalen Rager does a great job in these, when he's going up against zone concepts. But when he gets jammed, when he gets pressed, he kind of loses at the line of scrimmage, and it kind of makes it hard for him to really get separation. But in the zone, he knows how to find the space and get open. But he's not necessarily the guy, so the ball isn't really going his way when he actually gets open. Or sometimes the offensive line may have to pick up a blitz, and one guy may come free, and Jalen Hurts is forced to go to a different target, a different option. But Jalen Rager, it as disappointing as he has been, I don't want to give up on him because he is a Philadelphia Eagle, and when he's successful, we're successful. So we want Jalen Rager to win. We want Quez Watkins to be successful as well. Quez Watkins has fought, to be where he is. He wasn't drafted when he was drafted. He wasn't supposed to make this roster. They drafted John Hightower ahead of him. John Hightower was supposed to be the better receiver because he was a better route runner and he was a smarter player, whatever may have you. He had the speed and all that kind of stuff. But John Hightower has fallen from grace. And then now Quez Watkins has overtaken Jalen Rager as the number 2 wide receiver, in my opinion. And you see, and then when you just think about it from that perspective, Jalen Rager has to step his game up because at the end of the day, when you're a first round pick, sometimes you approach the game as though I'm automatically going to get my snaps because I'm a first round pick. And when you approach it from that perspective, you're never going to develop. You're never going to be as aggressive and maintaining your position as you possibly can be. Whereas though a guy like Quez Watkins understood that nothing was going to be given. He had to earn every bit of everything. And I think that's why he's actually taking a leap past Jalen Rager. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. Quez has definitely worked his tail off to get where he's at, and he's deserving of his position right now. I agree. He's definitely put in that work, and yeah, I think Rieger can be that. He can be that Deebo Samuel type. What is he as I can't talk this morning. Is he as athletically gifted as Deebo Samuel? Probably not, but
right.
We can get some similar things out of him. I agree. He can be kind of our gadget guy. So, we just got to get. I just want to see more. We got to get a few plays here and there out of Rieger, and I got to see more consistency out of Watkins. Whether it's and it may not, and I'm not saying it's all on him. Jalen's got to be able. He's got to be looking his way, just as he's got to get him involved in the offense. He's got to be that guy to kind of be the maestro of the whole thing and orchestrate it. But yeah, if down the stretch, if Devontae continues his stellar play and Quez can step up and get more involved in the offense, and it's kind of a collective group, collective effort in that. Quez has got to do his job. Jalen's got to see the field, and the coaches have to call. They have to kind of make an effort to get Quez involved as well. So we do all that. I think we're gonna be very, very good down the stretch. I mean, to put it plain and simple, because like we said before, there's not a lot of teams out there that want to face us right now. The way we're running the ball, we're averaging over 200 yards on the ground this year. Over 200 yards on the ground this year. I mean, that's
the past 4 games. Yeah, I think that like the past 4 games, we're averaging over 200 yards. Yep, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, we're bringing it. So they better bring their hard hats, so to speak. They better be ready to work hard.
No, you're right, man. And because the running game is doing so well, it opens things up for other guys. So like you said, Nick Sirianni, he has to find a way. Jalen Rager, they have to find ways to see this field and get guys involved. You got a guy like Quez Watkins, that kind of speed, you can't teach it. You get him in the open field, he's a burner. You get Quez Watkins in the open field. Try to catch him. Try.
Exactly.
You can try. And things haven't really been the same since he dropped that ball in the end zone. Since Denver, in the Denver Broncos game when he had about 6 targets, 4 receptions on 6 targets. So he has to take advantage. Here's the thing, because you're not the top guy, you have to take advantage of every opportunity you get. And I firmly believe if Jalen, if Quez Watkins would have caught that ball in the end zone, he would start getting way more looks in this offensive game plan. I firmly
Right.
believe that.
That's definitely hurt him because you're right. That's interesting you say that because since that drop, which was clearly a drop, I mean, absolute dime by Jalen Hurts in the back of the end zone there. But ever since that, he's kind of been phased out of the offense a little bit. Not
Granted, it's only been one game. Last
right.
game he had one target. It's only been one game, but that's a trust thing. And the last
Yeah,
thing you want is to fall out of favor
exactly.
with your. The last thing you want to happen is to fall out of favor with your quarterback.
I agree completely. Yeah, very true. Yep, it's the
Sure,
last
man.
thing you want. It's the last thing you want as a receiver, especially you know you both are very young. You're up and coming as a group, so you want to be able to be. You want him to have all the confidence in the world in you and looking your way just as much as anybody else. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yep,
Yep. And Michi brought up another good point. He said a lot of teams are about to stack the box and play cover zero, and they're going to make Jalen beat them with his arm. And
oh,
Jalen will be
easy.
tested. He's going to get
Right,
tested. He's going to get tested. And when they stack the box, and because let's be honest, the Giants are going to try to get that ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands fast. They're going to try to make Jalen. They're going to try to force Jalen Hurts to make a decision fast. They're going to try to contain. They're going to try to blitz him on one side and contain him on the other, so they trap him. But here's the thing: this is why this offense is so deadly, because you don't necessarily know who's going to have the rock at the end of the day. You don't know if Jalen's going to take it. You don't know if the running back's going to take it. You don't know if it's play action. It's
right,
it's 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 so many nuances, so many caveats to this team right now. Um, and the fact that we have momentum, we have a dominant offensive line, something the New York Giants do not have at all. Their offensive line has literally been porous. They can't stop a nosebleed. So it's going to be really important for us to take advantage of all those things. The New York Giants, they fired their offensive coordinator in Jason Garrett, and I personally believe that he was scapegoated. Even though I don't think Jason Garrett is good at anything he does, but I personally believe that he was scapegoated. They just needed to throw. And I heard this quote from someone. I think he's a New York Giants afternoon radio talk show host. But he said something along the lines of they needed to throw some meat to the Lions, and the meat ended up being Jason Garrett. The
mhm,
Lions being the fans. They
right.
needed to throw some bait to the fans. They needed to throw something off, overboard in order to stop this ship from sinking.
Right.
And
They had to sprinkle a little baking soda on the grease fire there, to kind of calm it
exactly,
down.
they had to, and
Yeah.
Jason Garrett was the easy option. They weren't going to get rid of Joe Judge.
Yeah.
Um,
Like you
uh,
said, he was the scapegoat. He was the next big name on the and the offensive side of the ball, especially being the offensive coordinator, former
mhm.
head coach, and I mean, he's a former Dallas Cowboy head coach too for a long time. So there's probably a lot of Giants fans that didn't like that hire to begin with. I'm sure there's a good amount of Giants fans that didn't like that hire to begin with, even if he wasn't an ex Cowboy head coach. But being that he was, probably made an even more sour taste in their mouth, and they were probably absolutely thrilled to get him out of there.
For sure, for sure. And it's funny because when they hired Jason Garrett, I was like, okay. That was that was that was a head scratcher. He wasn't really the most highly touted, even in Dallas. In my opinion,
Right.
I feel like he underperformed or underachieved with that Dallas roster for as long as he's been there.
Oh,
And I feel like
shout out to
I
my
feel like
shout out to my cousin Nolan Manzano. Thank you for checking in, Nolan.
for sure.
Appreciate you.
Shout out to Cuz Nolan
Yeah,
Manzano. Shout out
he's
to
a
my mom. Shout out to
he's a
my mom, Carolyn Palmer. That's my
oh
mom right
shout out
here.
to Mama Shields. Appreciate you.
Yo, for sure, man. It's funny that our families, respectively, always show love to the content, man. That's the dope
Yes.
thing about doing this kind of stuff, right? They see us doing this stuff, man, and it's like, they get so excited, and I'm always so humbled, by the support. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm always humbled by any kind of support, really.
Yeah.
And it means that much more even when it's family, man, because
Right.
I'm a firm believer in faith, family, and football, man. Those three F's. And
Yes. Love it.
this is going to be this is exciting, man. This is super exciting. And the Giants, they have so much, going against them. And we all know Freddie Kitchens is going to be calling the plays. Joe Judge was trying his best to try to keep it a secret. He was trying to find every loophole to keep the OC a secret. And I don't understand it's something about Joe Judge that's annoying, because he loves to play this no nonsense tough guy role. And I look at him sometimes and I'm like, it's just a facade. Your team sucks. They're not responding. Like you had players literally retire because they didn't want to deal with your nonsense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
That's a good word to use, is nonsense. And he's shown that from training camp, when after that big brawl they had at training camp took place, he had some of the coaches running with the players, and that's just a bad look. And I don't know. He tried to flex, but didn't really work. So
mhm,
he's he's on thin ice, and more than likely,
sure.
I think they probably clean house, as far as they probably get a new GM and a new coach,
And
and
to your point, right?
probably a new
I
quarterback this
saw
offseason.
I saw an article this morning that there's a strong chance that David Gettleman will not be here in 2022 for the New York Giants.
Oh yeah,
And he's
a
been making
stronger
terrible
chance.
decision after terrible decision. He's not.
Right,
He has done nothing. Absolutely, I've never seen such a poor job as a GM. He's worse than Harry Roseman. And look, Harry Roseman has done some good things as of late.
right.
Harry Roseman has a certain skill set, but David Gettleman seems like he doesn't know what he's doing at all. He does. At least Harry Roseman understands that you have to build your team from the inside out. It starts with the trenches. Whereas though David Gettleman, he has done nothing to fortify that offensive line, and it kind of makes you feel bad for Daniel Jones, because he hasn't had an offensive line since he's been in New York. And then you feel bad for Joe Judge, because he didn't draft Daniel Jones, and he pretty much just got there. He walked into the dumpster fire. So I think I think Joe Judge is going to have another crack at this next season. I think David Gettleman will be out of the building. Um, we're going to see what happens when it comes to that. But they tried so hard to keep things a secret throughout this entire week, and I think Jonathan Gannon's going to have to dial up the pressure against this Giant offense. Like he did against Trevor Siemian, like he's done against Teddy Bridgewater, Jared Goff, like he's done against all these mediocre quarterbacks. He needs to be aggressive, and that's pretty much been the trend. Shout out to Laura Brunson. He actually put that point out there. He's the first person I heard say that. That Jonathan Gannon had a strict formula for when he's attacking mediocre quarterbacks versus going up against more talented quarterbacks like Justin Herbert. When he was going up against guys like Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes and Garoppolo, he wasn't as aggressive. But then when he went up against guys like Trevor Siemian, Teddy Bridgewater, Jared Goff, Sam Darnold, he made it a point to dial up the pressure to force those guys to make a very hasty decision. And I think he
Yeah.
has to continue that trend despite who he's playing up against, because this defense has talent on it. This defense wants to attack. You have to dictate the pace on defense. The D line has to dictate pace. The last thing
Yes.
you want, really on defense is to be a play behind, to always be reacting to what's happening in front of you. Dictate the pace, attack, force the offense to make a decision. Don't let the offense force you to make a decision.
Right. No, it's going to be important that we do that. Jonathan Gannon, he's facing a pretty beat up New York Giants offense. So, Barkley's got the ankle. He's questionable.
Hey, it's my dad.
I was going to say, I think that's your dad in the chat. Yeah, I seen that. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you checking in. Fly Eagles fly always, definitely. And yes, possible playoff chance in sight, definitely.
For sure.
But yeah,
But yeah, man.
I mean the Giants are beat up on offense. They're going to be without Sterling Shepard. They're going to be without, more than likely, they're going to be without Tony. He's doubtful. So is Kyle Rudolph. So they're going to have, Evan Ingram. They're going to have Galladay, and with Barkley being banged up, I think that if we really if we eliminate their run game early, yeah, we're gonna pin our ears back and just go after Daniel Jones, like a lot of teams have. they get a lead, and then good luck with that offensive line trying to protect him because, like as we know, the New York Giants offensive line is in shambles right now. So yeah, I like our chances. I think it's a good time to be without. It's a good game to be without Jordan Howard. I think we should be okay. I'm a little nervous in that department, but I think on the defensive side of the ball, I think we're going to be fine. I really do. Darius Slay is probably going to have another interception.
Mm-hmm. For sure, man. And then
Yep.
you mentioned they're going to have guys like um Kenny Galladay and Evan Ingram. You can't forget Darius Slayton. The other wide receiver out Slayton.
True.
He's a pretty good wide receiver. Very agile, very quick. You get him in space and he can make anything happen. So
Right.
it's gonna be imperative for Jonathan Gannon to force Daniel Jones to make quick decisions, quick passes, so we don't get beat over the top. We haven't really been getting beat over the top all season, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
We've also been winning the turnover battle all season, so that's a great thing as well. The quarterback, we've done pretty much everything we needed to do to make sure that we don't necessarily beat ourselves. The penalties have been cut down tremendously. Now the Dallas Cowboys lead the league in penalties. So we've been doing a good job as far as discipline. And like you said, my main concern is really defense. Like I want defense to really put the clamps on uh
I
this
think we
guy's
should be able
offense because
to.
they're not good. They're not good.
Yeah.
Like they're just not good. Their offensive line is terrible. Like
Yeah.
if we don't blitz them, if we don't get at minimum 3 to 4 sacks on Daniel Jones, I'm going to be disappointed because this offensive line has been terrible, and they got abused last week. And I don't see
Yeah.
and I don't see why we don't abuse them this week. I really don't.
I want to ask the chat, and I want to ask you too, Tone.
Yeah.
You spoke on you mentioned you mentioned the Cowboys. And they obviously lost 2 games in 5 days. Do you, as a football fan, and you guys in the chat, you guys remember the Cowboys losing 2 games in 5? Because they obviously always play on Thanksgiving every year, but
Mhm.
I don't remember them losing 2 games in 5 days.
Yeah, that's the most interesting thing about it. They lost 2 games in 5 days. And um what a fall from grace. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games. And people thought they were going to beat the Broncos. The Broncos took it to them. They obviously beat up on the Atlanta Falcons, got that resurgence game, but it's the Atlanta
Right,
Falcons. Uh, then they got manhandled by the Chiefs. That game was not as close as the scoreboard dictates.
right. They only got 3
Um,
field goals. They didn't even score a touchdown.
Exactly.
Yep.
But like you said earlier, I don't think Dak Prescott is fully healthy. I really don't.
Yeah.
I feel like Dak Prescott came back a little early. I feel like Ezekiel Elliott is banged up. Their offensive line is banged up. They're playing musical chairs with that offensive line right now. Um, and I really feel like that's really why they haven't been able to dictate pace anymore. And that's why the Philadelphia Eagles are actually doing well because we are able to dictate pace with the offensive line. Our offensive line has been fairly healthy. And I'll admit, earlier on when we lost Brandon Brooks, Isaac Samalu, I was worried. But in the same breath, I remembered who we had waiting in the rafters. We had Nate Herbig, Jack Driscoll, Landon Dickerson, those guys. And those guys give me faith. Landon Dickerson is having an amazing rookie campaign. Um, Jack Driscoll was playing great at right guard, playing great enough to the point where I'm pretty sure this Philadelphia Eagles team will move on from Brandon Brooks in the offseason because of his huge cap hit that's gonna take effect next season. And on top of that, Brandon Brooks just can't stay healthy for some odd reason. And I love Brandon Brooks. I know Brandon Brooks is more talented. He's better than Jack Driscoll, without a doubt. But Jack Driscoll is younger. He doesn't have as many miles on his body. He knows the offense. He's playing extremely well right now. He's great in run blocking. He's pretty good in pass protection. Landon Dickerson is great in run blocking, can improve in pass protection. But overall, this offensive line has been the best offensive line in football right now. I can't think of an offensive line that's playing better than ours. Um, but we have to continue to dictate pace, and that's why the Cowboys aren't winning their games anymore. They're not dictating pace anymore. They're not dictating the time of possession, or they're not as physical. And I firmly believe the narrative in this coming playoffs, because the margin, the win margin, the margin of talent between these teams now is so slim, and it shows you in the record. Every team Every team in each conference is about a game and a half within each other, about a game within each other. No team is a lock for their seeding. And I firmly believe because of that lack of disparity and because of that parity, because all the teams are pretty much on the same playing field, any given Sunday is very possible. Because of that, I believe the one nuance that's going to stand tall in the playoffs will be the will to win. Because at this point, it's not about talent anymore. It's not about the numbers anymore. It's about the will to win. Any team can have it. That's the way this season has been looking. Any team, like think about this. The Buccaneers lost to the Washington football team. You know what I mean? The Cowboys lost to the Broncos. Uh the Chiefs were looking human earlier on in the season. The Tennessee Titans lost to the Houston Texans. The Bills got smacked by the Indianapolis Colts.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like there's
The
all
Bills got
these
smacked by Jacksonville.
yeah, the Green Bay Packers lost to the Vikings. And
Right.
so you think about all these teams who are supposed to be the cream of the crop.
The
But
the Bucks lost to the Saints. I don't know if you said that one already.
oh, the Bucks lost to the Saints. I
Trevor
forgot about
Simeon
that.
at that. Yeah.
Right. So you think about all those things we just discussed. There's anything can happen on any given Sunday. None of these teams are safe. None of these teams are a lock. You can't go, like I know this has been a betting man's hell this season because all these bets have not been coming through for a lot of these guys, man. And this the disparity between talent, the disparity between competitiveness is so short in between now. There's the only thing that's separating teams any given Sunday is the will to win, is execution. You get what I mean? Like, and pretty much who shows up, who wakes up on the right side of the bed. And so far, these past few weeks, the Eagles have been waking up on the right side of the bed. The Cowboys have not. The Washington football team, they've been waking up on the right side of the bed these past couple weeks. The
Right.
Giants have not. So we have to take advantage of this momentum we have. Um, and I'm pretty sure these other teams in this division will as well. But
Yeah.
but we have to focus on our path, and our path is as smooth as it's going to be, and we have to take advantage of that and not get too ahead of ourselves, not listen to the noise. Don't believe your own hype. I think that should be the motto going forward for the rest of the season. Do not believe your own hype.
Yeah. And just continue to do what you've been doing these last few weeks. Even against the Chargers, I thought on the offensive side of the ball, we played good enough. It was the defense that just didn't, wake up on the right side of the bed, as you said just a minute ago. The defense really let us down against the Chargers, especially at the end there. They let them control the ball for 6 minutes and go down and kick a chip shot field goal. There's no easier ways to win in football than that. You've got to you got to get off the field on third downs at certain points in the game, and we just didn't do that against LA. But since then, I think the team's been very very confident, and I like the direction that Sirianni has this club going right now.
Absolutely,
My hype
absolutely.
is taking over me.
Right. I just saw that myself. I saw East Camden for life, man. He's funny as hell. My hype has taken over me. Michi said. Michi also says Nick going to keep his foot on the gas against the Giants. That's a good point, Michi. You've been killing it today. The thing that Nick Sirianni pointed out, and also Jalen Hurts, they pointed out at
Very
their
good.
game, they were very clear and very distinct in what they said. They said we took our foot off the gas. We were very aware that we did that, and it won't happen again. And I firmly believe that. I firmly believe once we get a lead on this team, we're going to hold that lead, and we're going to
Yeah.
we're going to strangle the life out of this team.
Oh yeah.
I want this to be a slow death for the
Yes.
for the New York Giants. I want this to be a slow death. I want them to feel every bit of these rushing attempts. I want them to get up slower and slower and slower each and every run, each and every quarter. I want them to go back into the locker room at halftime like, yo, listen, let's just mail it in, man. Let's just mail it in.
Right. Because like you said earlier, you touched on it a little bit with the offensive line. They're playing at a high level right now, and I don't know if there's a scarier side of an offensive line than Landon Dickerson and Jordan Mailata coming at you. And the athletic ability of our center. you see him a lot of more times than not getting to that second level on screen passes, or if it's a sweep or something like that. Jason Kelsey is still playing at a high level, so
Oh
I don't know. I'm
yeah,
getting that feeling that if we end this season at like I think we do, and that's probably making the playoffs and maybe even winning a playoff game, then there's better chance than not that Jason Kelsey is not going to retire.
agreed. It's funny you brought that up because I was talking about that yesterday with the people, and I asked the question. I said, do we think Jason Kelsey will retire if this team makes some noise in the playoffs? Or even if this team is trending in the
Right,
right direction?
right.
Because I'm a firm believer that this team is a season away from competing if we draft well, and that's if we draft well, and if we have a very good offseason in free agency.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it. This team can compete for a Super Bowl.
I mean, it's not without the realm of possibility. And going back to Kels, I think he's just having he's still having a ball out there. He's still. I mean, you've seen him earlier this year out there running around in the rain, playing in the water, sliding on the ground. He's still like a little kid out there. So as long as he's still enjoying the game like that, and when you win, you definitely enjoy the game more. Obviously, it's going to be fun because I don't think he's done. I don't think he is.
Yeah, I don't think so either, man. And then this offensive line. I'm glad you brought up Jason Kelsey. The offensive line in general has been playing out of their minds, out of their minds. I love what I saw from Jordan Mailata. When it came to killing Davenport and Cam Jordan all game. I loved what I saw from him.
Yes,
I
him
love
getting
seeing him.
him getting in Davenport's face after he gave Jalen that little late shove after out of bounds, which they didn't call. Mulata was the
Mhm.
first one over there saying, "Oh, hey, don't you think I'm going to forget about
Yeah,
that? I'm going to be after you now. I'm going to be
absolutely.
coming for you." Yeah.
He went
So
right. He went right. He went right for him. He went right for him.
yes,
And then he made. And
let's
then on
get it,
top of
kid.
that, it was that one play where he drove him completely out of the screen, out of the play.
Yes,
And then that's
blindsided
when
him. Yeah.
that's when they had that scuffle on the ground because Jordan Milano
Yes.
was like, "Listen, you're going to listen. I'm going to abuse you for the rest of
Yeah.
the afternoon. You're going to
Yeah.
feel every bit of this Australian husky. You're going to feel
Absolutely.
you're going to feel all of this. You know what I'm saying?
It's like
So I want to ask.
you don't think I like fighting, you don't think I like scrumming. I played rugby. I mean, that's why I love it. I love that. Jordan Malata probably misses that.
I
He
live for this.
yes. He probably wishes they could do it like hockey and throw down on the field.
Exactly. Because it's funny, man. You think about this offensive line in general, it begs the question, how many Pro Bowlers can this Eagles arm produce on the O line in 2021? How many guys do you think on this offensive line will make the Pro Bowl? I say three.
Yeah, I think so. I think Kelsey is definitely going to be there. I think Mulata has a good shot. And who's your third one? Who you would you? Or you thinking Lane? Because Lane's missed
Yeah,
some time
yeah,
this
yeah. Lane. I was going to say Lane. Yeah, Lane
year.
has missed some time. He has. I will give you that. I think Lane missed
Yeah, right.
3 games or 2 games, something like that.
Yeah, two.
But
I think it
but
was at least two or three. Yeah,
but his impact is undeniable.
very much so.
He's been lights out. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're going to give it to a guy like Landon Dickerson because he's a rookie.
Right,
I don't think they're going to give it to Jack Driscoll because he's not really a big name.
right.
It's not the sexy option.
Agreed.
But Jordan Mailata, he's been lights out. Jason Kelsey, oh my God, been lights out. His best game of the
Yes.
season, I think, has been that Saints game. The way he was moving, oh my goodness, like a locomotive. Um, and then Lane Johnson has been doing his thing as well. It's like you can't deny how potent this offensive line has been playing. You really can't.
Right. That's true. Very true.
For sure, man. And shout out to my man Vic 3, man. Make sure y'all go check him out as well.
Vic,
He has a post game as well. And make sure you guys go show love to him. The link is in the live chat. So make sure you guys like that live stream. Make sure you guys are subscribed to his content. Real good dude, man. Real
very
good
much
dude.
so. My co-host,
Man.
East meets
Yep.
West.
Exactly. But yeah, man, the Pro Bowl is interesting because not just on the offensive line, guys on defense have been stepping up as well. like Darius Slay you mentioned earlier. Like, is Darius Slay having an All Pro and or Pro Bowl season? Because I definitely think he's having a Pro Bowl season. All Pro. I'm I'm kind of lean. I'm kind of I'm not sure yet because he has he has 3 interceptions on the season. He has 2 fumble recoveries, both for a touchdown. And he has a pick six. So he's accumulated 3 touchdowns on the season. He leads all players on defense in defensive touchdowns. So I mean, is that all? I know that's Pro Bowl caliber. Is that all pro caliber? I think that's the biggest question.
Yeah, then that's it's kind of a tough question, but I think if he keeps playing at a high level and and he's leading the way with this defense and he's out there battling it, for the most part. And shout out to AK, another one of my co-hosts from East Meets West. Appreciate you guys for being in the chat. But yeah, I mean, the the fact that Darius Slay has continued to he's really, I mean, he's like, you could tell the defense kind of drops off to a pretty good degree when he's not out there, so he's definitely a catalyst of this defense. And I think he deserves, if he continues to put up points on the defensive side of the ball this year. I mean, he's got more touchdowns than anybody on the New York Giants, I think, as far as receivers go. So I mean, I think
You might be right. You might be
I'm
actually
pretty
might
sure
be
I
right.
am. Pretty sure I am.
No, you absolutely are right. The most touchdowns someone has on that team is 2. You're absolutely right.
He's got 3. So I think right now he's deserving of both, in my opinion.
I feel that, man. I feel you on that. And
I mean, what's the defining differences between the two? I don't know if I clearly know that.
Well, as far as like Pro Bowl and
All
Pro
Pro and Pro Bowl, yeah.
So Pro Bowl was obviously what the Pro Bowl is. The event.
Right.
It's kind of like the All Star game.
Yeah.
And then All Pro was kind of like All NBA. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of how in the NBA they have All NBA and then they have All Star. Some guys that make the All Star team aren't necessarily All NBA. They so the only thing about in the NBA they have All NBA first, second, and third team, and then they have in the NFL they have All Pro first team and All Pro second team. All Pro was just a higher.
Yeah.
All Pro was a higher recognition. It's high. It's like you were the cream of the crop at your position. And also the Pro Bowl is strictly for your conference. All Pro was like I think All Pro was league wide. So the question becomes: Has Darius Slay been the cream of the crop at his position throughout out of when you consider the entire league? Because although the Cowboys have been down, Trevon Diggs has had a very stellar season with 7 interceptions, I believe he has. You think about these other DBs who are having a good season as well. So it's been very competitive among corners. But
I would say he's definitely, he's, if not first tier All Pro, he's definitely would be the second team.
Okay. I can get that.
Yeah, I think he's definitely in the top 3 or 4 corners in the league right now. I think he's playing at a pretty high level. I do.
Okay. Now, this is funny, right? You want to hear something funny? He's
got a nose for the end zone. He's got that drive. He knows how to get it done.
Yeah, for sure. He said it's funny. Whenever I get the opportunity to get the ball, whenever I get my hands on the ball, I'm looking at the end zone. I'm not looking at nothing else. Right. I'm not worried of looking at nothing else, man. But I want to bring something up to you because Ivan Mims is funny, man. He's he's visiting some family, in the tri-state area, in the Philadelphia area, and all that. And he's going to be tailgating and all that kind of stuff at the stadium. His wife, I believe, is a Giants fan. And so they drove from Atlanta all the way to Philadelphia, and they're going to have it's going to be a long ride home for one of them. For one of them, I'm praying it's a long ride home for her, and I'm hoping we get this win, my man, for sure.
Definitely, yeah. Shout out to Ivan. Appreciate you checking in and have fun at the game today. Definitely tailgate your butt off and go Birds always.
Definitely, man. Definitely. But earlier we brought up the guy, the man, the myth, the legend, Boston
Yeah.
Scott, the giant killer.
Giant killer.
Unleash the giant killer. he
GTK.
has he's been he has been extremely potent against the New York Giants. Now,
Yes.
here are his numbers for the past 4 games he's played the Giants. He's played them 4 times in his career. Through 4 games, Boston Scott, the Giant Killer, has accumulated 222 rushing yards and 5 rushing touchdowns, and 210 receiving yards and one receiving touchdown. And in one of those games in 2019, he had a hat trick, 3 touchdowns on the ground in that game. He has been the bona fide giant killer, and there's nothing cooler than having that one player in your team that just eats against one team in the NFL. There's nothing
Right.
more cool than that.
Right. And I know a lot of us were nervous, before the season started. We were wondering if he was going to even make this roster this year, with the other running backs that we had in training camp and things like that. But, he did, and he's worked hard. And I think, along with that nervousness, we're not wanting him to go to especially go to like a division rival, like go to the Giants or go to the football team or even go to Dallas, because we know that this guy can be dangerous. He's kind of like he's not as dynamic as Darren Sproles, but he's got that body type. He's small, he's short of stature, he's got that low center of gravity, but he's still very, very strong. So yeah, the giant killer, he's going to be our ace our ace up the sleeve today, because
Absolutely, man.
he's going to contribute definitely.
Because if I'm Nick Sirianni, I'll tell you this right now. If I'm Nick Sirianni, I'm pulling up all the Boston Scott footage. I'm pulling up all the Boston Scott tape. I'm gonna say, listen, that spin you did, let's try to get that a little faster, okay? because that spin probably was. Deuce Staley said that was the slowest spin I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God, I would never forget that game, the way Boston Scott just came alive. And then he caught that crazy dart from Carson Wentz to seal the game.
Right.
Oh my God, Carson Wentz. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how Carson Wentz saw this guy, because he was being shadowed by the linebacker, and Carson Wentz saw the mismatch. He trusted Boston Scott, and Carson Wentz stepped up in that pocket and he flung it, and the pass couldn't have been any more perfect. It landed right in the bread basket, and Boston Scott completed that pass. It was not an easy pass.
Right.
It was far from easy.
Yeah. It was a thing of beauty. One of the ones that definitely, like you said, it was the dagger in the heart for the Cowboys last year. But just the fact that he can be used in lots of different ways. Obviously sometimes Boston's not the most dynamic runner between the tackles and things like that. But I look for the Eagles they're gonna look to get him on some screens today. Get our offensive linemen out in space, get them moving and grooving, and when he gets some blockers in front of him, Boston Scott can do some good things. So, he's definitely going to be a big part of the package today, especially with Jordan Howard being out.
For sure, and I'm glad that begs this question right here. Antonio DeShields Sr., my father, he has a question. He said Howard is injured. Do you think Sanders will step up without any fumbles? That's a very good question, because
we were talking about that earlier. Yeah,
we were. That's a very good question, because Sanders, sometimes when he's trying to get the home run, he forgets about the one thing that's most important as a running back, and that's protecting the ball.
Right.
So that's a very good question. And
like I said earlier, that the defense is going to be going after that ball. Anytime they see Sanders has that ball in his hands, they're going to be attacking it. They're not just going to be trying to tackle him. They're going to be trying to strip that ball. So cause turnovers, get short fields, because that's the only way. To me, in my opinion, that's the only way that the Giants are going to be able to beat us. If we turn the ball over, we give them short fields, we give them easy opportunity at points, a lot like Sanders did last week, which we have to avoid. Then that's the only way I see us faltering this week. But yeah, he's does he step up? Yes, without any fumbles. I don't know. Let's hope so. Definitely, knock on wood, like I said earlier. Because
you're absolutely right.
Miles got to protect that rock, like you said. He can't get too excited. You got to protect that rock.
Right. right? He has to get the necessary yardage. He has to know down and distance. And look, if you got the hole, obviously take it. I'm all about taking that home run if you got it.
Right.
But
Of
you
course.
had to protect that rock. And to answer your question blatantly, Pop, I firmly believe that Sanders will step up, but he just can't fumble that rock, and we can't give them short fields.
Right.
You give a guy like you give any team a short field, they're going to score on you, and and you also don't give your defense too much room to make a mistake. When you force a team to have to drive the entire field, then you give your defense multiple opportunities to limit them from getting points. But if you turn the ball over at the 50-yard line and all they got to do is drive 50 yards, they get one first down, they're in field goal position. So you have to keep we have to keep this team at bay. This Giants team will play us tough. Do not get it twisted. Those guys still have pride. Those guys still get paid like everybody else. And those guys, in the way they see it, they're 3-7. The Washington football team's 4-6. We're 5-6. The way they see it, why can't we try to make some noise in this division? Why not? They
Right.
maybe they feel maybe we can turn our fortune. So it's going to be important for Miles Sanders to understand the gravity of the game, play his style of football, and most importantly, take care of the football.
Yeah.
I trust Boston Scott. I trust Boston Scott. I trust Kenny Gainwell. I trust Miles Sanders. And my thing with Miles Sanders more than anything, you trying to get paid, big dog, and you ain't gonna get paid fumbling the rock like that. I don't care how talented you are. You can put up
Facts.
the numbers you want to put up, but if you fumble in the ball at the most inopportune times, then how can I trust you?
Exactly. And that's one of the main things that clubs look at, organizations look at when it comes to running backs. Can you take care of that football? It's not all about, getting huge yards, putting up big numbers. It's also about being able to not turn the ball over and give easy opportunities for points to your to the opposing team.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And then not protecting the ball, especially in garbage time where you're trying to run the clock. That's the time when they're trying to strip the ball from you the most. So you have to protect that ball. You have to find a way to protect your team. It's not just on Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has done a pretty good job protecting the ball this season. He's only turned the ball over 6 times, 5 interceptions, one fumble lost. Um, so it's and then granted, Miles Sanders, that was his first fumble and his only fumble loss. So let's try to keep it that way. Let's try to keep it only at one for the season, and that'll be great for him. It's just going to be really important for him to just really just stay focused. This team has to stay focused. This team has to understand that anybody can get touched. Anybody can get punched on, and
Hmm.
and you know and we're not exempt from that at all. So this
No,
Eagles
no.
team has they got to make it a point to take care of business on the road. And we've been road warriors, my man. We've taken care of business on the road. That's been our mo. We got our first
We
home
do.
win last week,
Definitely.
but we've been road warriors, and we've won in the most dire circumstances, in the most dire locations. We won at Mile High. That's not an easy place to win at. It's not. Especially with the altitude, not easy
Right.
to win at. Not easy
Very
to
much
win.
so.
Not easy to win where the Saints are either. You know what I'm saying? Not easy to win in Carolina. So this is another one that's going to test our fortitude, and I firmly believe that this team will go as Jalen Hurts and the offensive line goes. If the offensive line is dictating pace, oh yeah, we're going to be just fine. And then no defensive line got to get through.
Oh yeah. We gotta we can't let we've seen when when we're able to get consistent pressure when we need to at smart times, on third downs, things like that, then we're gonna get off the field. And I think that's gonna happen today. I really do. I don't think I don't think we're gonna have a lot of issues when it comes to I appreciate that, Ivan. Yes, sir. Gotta rock the Santa hat always. But the there was a comment in the comments that I seen earlier that I was trying to I had a response to that and I forgot what I was gonna say.
Which one was it?
I'm trying to remember. Oh, that's one. Ivan Mims said, but it's the next one. He said, but Sanders might make sure he show out because of Jordan Howard injury. Well, that's the thing,
Oh
Ivan.
yeah, right here.
He can't press too much. You can't try to fight for too many extra yards. You got to because the ball security's got to be the main thing for Miles today. Make sure you do not put that ball on the ground and just don't try to do too much. Just play with inside the offense. Just do your thing, but don't try to just because you think maybe in the back of your head you're trying to win back your starting position or something like that. Don't try to do too much. Just play within yourself.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Um, Brawlster B says, how many passing attempts for Jalen today? He could get some valuable reps in this game.
Hmm.
And
Good
that's
question.
interesting. Very good question. For me, I'm going to say he's going to have. I think Jalen, because I expect us to run this ball tremendously. So
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I think Jalen's going to have about 23 pass attempts.
Yeah, I'm right around there. I think it's probably going to be right around the 20 to 25 mark. I think probably right in there.
Because that's his sweet spot right now. He's still developing, but
Right.
that 20 to 25, pass attempts, that's his sweet spot. Whenever you start to get above that,
Right.
I feel like things start to get, we're not playing to our strengths anymore.
And if we can't run the balls, if we're not running the ball at a high clip between the tackles, you look for the coaching staff to counter that with probably some screens to Sanders and to Boston Scott, to try to
Quez Watkins as well. Yep.
yeah, absolutely. Maybe even a wide receiver screen to Rieger, something like that. But those are going to add into to Jalen's pass attempts as well. Because if our running game's not super successful, they're going to try the short passes to alleviate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now let's get into the keys to victory. We're starting to, wind things down a little bit. So what are your three keys to victory for this win against the New York Giants?
My first key to victory today is going to be a lot what we were just talking about. It has a lot to do with what we were just talking about in no turnovers, or at least win the turnover battle. Miles has to take care of the ball today. We can't. He can't let that rock go, unless the whistle is blown. That he is down, everything like that. He's got to make extra secure with that football today. That's definitely my first key to victory is we have to win the turnover battle.
I feel you on that. It's funny because that's one of my keys to victory as well. Do not turn over the ball and give New York favorable field position.
Right.
We have to force Daniel Jones to drive the entire field. When you turning the ball over, especially losing the turnover battle, you're literally just giving that team extra possessions. You're giving
Oh
them
yeah.
a shorter field. You're giving them confidence. You're giving them momentum, and then you're exhausting your defense as well. So it's going to be really important for us to not turn the ball over,
Yeah.
and
You're
not give
pissing
up
your
favorable
defense
field
off.
position.
When you're well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but when
No,
your
you're
defense is
good.
playing really good, and then you do like Miles Sanders did last week, and you turn the ball over inside your 10-yard line, that's like a slap on your face to your defense. They're working so hard to do it on their end. You can't, like you just said, you can't give easy opportunities to the other team like that.
Absolutely, man. What was your second key to victory?
My second key is to stop their run game. First and foremost, Barkley's going to be in there. He's a little dinged up with the ankle, but to stop their run game first and foremost, and then after that, I don't think Daniel Jones really has weapons right now with the injuries that he has, with Tony being doubtful, with the Kyle Rudolph's he's doubtful, and Shepard's out as well. So they're definitely missing some key weapons as far as his targets down the field. But I just don't. I'm not from what I've seen from Daniel Jones that this past game and this season so far. I'm really not threatened by him throwing the ball down the field, and I don't think Kitchens is going to really have him doing that. I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean, I think that if we stop their run game, we're just going to be able to pin our ears back, like I said earlier, and get after Daniel Jones. And I mean, who knows? We could have 4 or 5 sacks today.
Yeah, I think you and I are right here with it. My second key to victory is do not allow Saquon Barkley to go off. I understand that he's dinged up, but if he sees a
Right.
hole, he's going to take it. The talent is
Oh
still
yeah.
there. So we can't allow Saquon Barkley to go off at all. And then my third key to victory was blitz Daniel Jones early and often. He will make a mistake. He
Oh yeah.
will.
Yeah. Whether it's fumbling it, whether it's throwing a pick, he definitely will. You gotta get him uncomfortable. He's another, subpar quarterback, in my opinion, that Gannon's going to come after. Because he's not really worried about. They don't have a lot of weapons, or at least right now, especially with the injuries that they have. So, we're going to take advantage of that. And my third key to victory is control, and that is control the line of scrimmage, control the clock, and like you mentioned earlier, control field position. Field position is going to be
Beautiful.
important. We can't
Beautiful.
give them any short fields, like you said earlier. We have to make their subpar offense, their shoddy offensive line, be able to withstand long drives down the field. And I don't see that happening today. I really don't. I think our defense is going to get off the field a lot like they did last week. And the final score today is my prediction. It's going to not even be as close as it seems.
Mm. Let's get into the bold predictions because the score predictions that's going to come next. Because
Yeah.
I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be as close as some people think. Some people think it will. Granted, it's a rivalry game. They're going to
Right.
play us tough, but I don't think it's going to be close by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
My first bold prediction is Boston Scott, the Giant Killer, will have a rushing TD and a receiving TD. That's my
Okay.
bold prediction. That's my bold prediction. That's one of my
Okay.
bold predictions. Actually, what about yours? What's your first one?
I like it. Mine is very similar, but it's a different player. I remember how I mentioned earlier we might get a giant killer junior today. So I think that Kenny Gainwell is going to have 2 touchdowns today.
Ooh.
It could be 2 receiving, it could be 2 rushing, it could be
Just
one
two
of both.
touchdowns, right? Just two touchdowns in general, right?
Just 2 touchdowns. And I also think he's going to have 50 at least 50 yards receiving and 50 yards rushing on the ground today for a total of 100 yards from
That's
scrimmage.
that's bold. Now that's bold. That means
Yes.
his usage rate is going to be high.
Yeah.
That's bold. That's really bold, actually. Okay.
Let's go.
Let me let me get into my second bold prediction. So my second bold prediction is, and I don't know how bold this is, but these things still come short. These things still come far in between.
Of
There,
course.
my second bold prediction is Darius Slay will force another pick six.
Ooh, I like it.
Darius Slay wants another one because
Uh,
listen, he's gonna be matched up with Kenny Galladay, and Kenny Galladay is his man. But trust and believe, he wants to spank on that ass.
oh
He wants
yeah.
to he wants to get he wants to
They
get right with Kenny Galladay.
they go back to Detroit. Weren't they
Yep,
teammates in Detroit?
exactly for a few years. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So they know there's definitely some familiarity there, and I like your second bold prediction. My second one is on defense as well. So I'm gonna say, I mean, and it's not super bold, but my first one was really bold. So this one's kind of a little step back, but I think Fletcher Cox will not only have a strip sack, but he will also have the fumble recovery as well.
Oh, okay. All right, that's nice because it's funny because I do think a strip sack is going to happen today. I just don't
Oh
know
yeah,
who.
somebody's getting
Um,
it.
someone's getting in that cookie jar. Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
Someone's
maybe Josh Sweat. Maybe Josh Sweat will pop that cookie out.
someone's going to make Daniel Jones drop his change. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like someone's going to knock the Sonic rings out of Daniel Jones. I'm telling you.
That's a good one, dog. I like that one.
I promise you.
They just go everywhere. It's great. I love it.
Oh my God. All right, so my third and final bold prediction is Devontae Smith will torch the Giants defense for over 150 yards and 2 touchdowns.
All right. I like it.
That's my third and final bold prediction.
That is bold. I like that. But it's good. My third one's actually on special teams.
Okay.
I think Jalen Rieger is going to surprise some people today and have a punt return for a touchdown.
Oh! Oh, I did not see that coming. All right.
Oh,
I did not see that coming. Wow. Okay, I did not see
Gotta keep
that
it fresh.
coming. That is bold. That's bold because as of right now, he sucks at almost everything.
Right?
So that's bold. And I hate that I talk about him the way I talk about him because I had high hopes for him when he was
I know
drafted.
what you mean. Yeah.
I was optimistic, but it's just like, damn, bro. But that's bold. That's really bold.
Yeah.
Okay, my dad said bold prediction. Maddox going to have a pick six. Okay, I like that.
I like it,
I like
Pops.
that.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, so let's get into our score predictions now, my brother. What's your score prediction for this game?
Okay, so I said Gainwell's going to have 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Rieger's going to have punt return. So that puts us at 21. And so I think Jalen Hurts probably have another touchdown. I think we're going to win 31-17, but like I said, it's not even going to be that close. At some point in this game, it could be, like 28-7, something like that. I don't think New York's they're going to get some garbage. They're going to get some garbage time points, but for the most part, we're going to handle them. We're going to go into Get a Life Stadium and stomp a mud hole. So I got us winning 31-17, but it's not even going to be that close.
Wow. Okay. So based off my bold predictions, because I said Boston Scott is going to have 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
Darius Slay is going to have a pick 6.
Yep.
So that's 3 touchdowns, and Devontae Smith is going to have 2 touchdowns as well. So that's a total of 5 touchdowns. 7 times 5 is 30. So 7 times 5 is 35.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles win. I think the Eagles win 38 to 20.
Okay.
38 to 20.
I like it, Tone.
38 to 20. Michi says 41 to 13. I like it. That's dominance right there. Ryan Rose says 36-23. Okay. That's dominance right there. I like that. So what did I say? I said 38 to 20. All right.
Yeah. And Eagles Uncensored said 38-17. So his was close to mine.
Yep.
He just has one more touchdown for us.
Yep. Man, this is going to be an interesting game, man. We have to win this game. We have to.
Yeah. It would be a complete and utter letdown to lose today.
Easy. Yeah, you're without a doubt. This would be a letdown. This would be disappointing. This will totally, not, take the air out of our, this would burst our bubble. This would take the air out of all our sails.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Tom, before we get out of here, though.
Sure.
Do you have any nervousness about, kind of I know he was a head coach in Cleveland before and things like that, but just with the not having any film with Freddie Kitchens running the offense for the New York Giants, do you think that could bite us in the butt at all today?
The way I see it, man, there's only but so much you can install in a week.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? There's only but so much, especially with a new coordinator. You're
trying to install. A complete week. I mean, he got Garrett got fired on Tuesday, so not even a complete week.
Right. And so you're trying to install not just a new game plan, but you're trying to install a new mentality on offense. You're trying to install new concepts. You're trying to change pretty much your entire philosophy. So I just think that I think because they fired Garrett in midweek and they bringing someone else in, I actually think they're going to try to keep things as simple as possible. I think they're going to try to rely heavily on the run game as much as they can. I think they're going to try. I think they're going to try to get a little crafty. You're going to see some sweeps with maybe Darius Slayton. You might see some design runs for Daniel Jones. I think they're going to try to get a little crafty. Try. I think they're going to try to finesse their way through this game with a lot of misdirection, a lot of deception. So I'm actually expecting a lot of that. Trust me. I'm expecting a lot of design runs for Daniel Jones. So that's my whole thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not. So it's something to think about. To your point, it's something to think about. But at the same time, I'm not necessarily nervous about it. The only thing I'm nervous about, I'm also nervous about how we're going to respond to this newfound love we're getting from the media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not let it get to our heads too much, right?
Exactly,
stay even keeled.
Exactly, man. Yep. And we can end it on that note, man. That's the thing. That's the theme of the week. That's the theme for the rest of the season. stay even kill. My brother,
Mhm.
Philly Foothills from the Nest Out West. You already know how we get down, my man. This has always been a pleasure. This is always
Absolutely.
love between me and you, my man. This is something we enjoy doing genuinely every week whenever we can. And there's so much more to come from this. Like we always say, you guys, we are live or we're live on two separate channels. We were live on my channel, Chalk It Up Sports Philly. We were also live on the Nest Out West with Philly Foothills, respectively. Make sure you guys go like, comment, and subscribe to my man. The Nest Out West, his content is available. And the links are available down below in the description if you want to support not only myself, but if you want to support also my brother, Philly Foothills from the Nest Out West. This guy grinds hard. He gives you so much content throughout the week. He has live streams. He has roundtables. He has does plenty of collaborations, podcasts throughout the week. He gives you guys a lot of content. So make sure you guys lock in with my man. He is putting his foot on the gas. He's like this new Philadelphia Eagles team. Like the momentum is there. You just got to stay even kill. You got to just do what you do best, and that's what my man does. He always does what he does best, man.
Appreciate it, Tone. Very, very much so. And likewise to you. I've been really enjoying doing this thing with you, and just looking forward to it growing, and looking forward to this stretch run that we got with this football team, because it's the beginning of the season wasn't so promising, but right now it's kind of an exciting time to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan. So, this
For
is going to
sure,
be
man.
an exciting stretch run, my guys. And thank you so much to everybody that was in the chat today. Yeah, come check me out. Like you said, on the Nest Out West, always running the Eagles content 24/7, 365. Like you said, lots of live streams, things like that. And anybody on my channel, any Philbillies out there, if you're not, make sure you go check in, go sub up, like and subscribe to Chalk It Up with Tone DeShields, Chalk It Up Sports, because he's always putting out that fire content as well. He even covers the 76ers as a content creator also. So yeah, if you're into basketball, you'll enjoy that. So go check them out. Definitely enjoy it. And yeah, it's just like, thank you so much. All the family that checked in, my cousin Nolan, Tone's dad, his mom are in the chat as well. So thank you guys for all the continued love and support. We really, really appreciate it. And like I always say, you guys are the food and the water to the channel. Without you, it does not continue to survive. So if you're feeling the vibe, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe to keep our dreams alive. And until next time, we fly until we die. Stay mean, stay green. Thanks for viewing us on your screen. But most importantly, like I always say, keep it fuego.
Yes, sir. And as you guys already know, I'm your humble host, Tone DeShields II. And I was joined by my brother, Philly Foothills from the Nest Out West. And you guys were tuned into Chalk It Up Sports Philly, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. One love, stay humble, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay hungry. And fly Eagles fly. And let's go kick some giant ass.